So... All right, yeah, he's dead.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 Netflix action comedy, The Union. The film is directed by Julian Farino and it stars Mark Wahlberg, Halle Berry, J.K. Simmons, Mike Coulter and Jackie Earle Haley. Right, okay, the film focuses on Mark Wahlberg's character, Mike, who is an everyday guy, works on a construction yard, he goes out drinking with his mates, and his life has not really changed since high school. Then this one particular night, he is paid a visit by Roxanne, played by Halle Berry, who was his ex-girlfriend in high school. They went to the high school party together, all that kind of stuff, and she ended up leaving town and what have you, and he hasn't seen her for a long time. She turns up at this bar, and he thinks she's turned up to hit on him, sort of thing, but in actual fact she drugs him, takes him to London and tries to recruit him for this international spy network, I suppose, called The Union, that's run by J.K. Simmons. And the reason why is because there is a disk drive of some sort that has all the detailed information of every agent, not just in the Union, but in the armed forces, CIA, FBI, everything, all on this disk. And if it ends up in the wrong hands, then everything's buggered, basically. So they need somebody from the outside to come in who's not on that list, to be trained up very, very quickly and to join up and help them get it back. Right, what are my thoughts on The Union? Well, this is the sort of middling action comedy that Netflix, are actually quite good at. They churn out a lot of these, during the year. And while they might not be what you would describe as memorable or anything like that, they are certainly serviceable, most of them. And this is no exception, I suppose. This is a very watchable film, even if it's got, plot holes that you can drive, Arctic trucks through. It's kind of one of those films where you can just kind of click your brain off, watch it, and have a decent enough time. Matt Wahlberg has done quite a number of these sort of films, like very middling, vanilla, middle of the road, like action comedies over the last 2 or 3 years. He's done The Family Plan, which feels recent. That Infinite film, which is essentially a variation of this film in a lot of ways, and Spencer Confidential as well he's done in the last few years. So he's trying to corner the market, I suppose, on forgettable action comedies or forgettable action films in general. So while none of this might sound particularly inspiring, and to be perfectly honest, it isn't inspiring stuff, this film, it is undeniably, I suppose, reasonably entertaining, but it's just, I think the thing I struggled with the most with this film was its dull as dishwater plot, and a plot that we've seen so many times before. I mean, it's the beginning is literally a rip-off of the original Mission Impossible film with Tom Cruise. It literally, and I don't know if it's intentional. I suspect it probably is, but it's the same plot, not just of that film, but many other films that we've seen over the years. And I'm not going to list them here, but there is quite a few of them, where this so-called disc or something exists with everybody's information on, and if it gets into the wrong hands, whoa, we've all had it. I mean, it's getting really dull now, is that narrative, that story. I mean, because who would put all this shit on one disc? Imbeciles? I know, let's put all of our most secret information and all of our, secret agents or military's information all on this one disc. It'll be perfectly fine. No one will steal it, I'm sure. So it's like, oh God, stop treating us like infants and come up with a better story. And the whole idea of recruiting Mark Wahlberg in this film was because he's not on that list. So they need somebody fresh that the enemy doesn't know, if you like. But that plot point doesn't play out in any way, shape or form in this film. You don't see a bad guy like looking at this disc and then saying, right, these are all the Union members. Let's target all them right now. Kill them. And then Mark Wahlberg, because he's not on that list, is somehow safe from that attack, so he's able to kind of infiltrate the enemy base or something like that. You would think it would play out like that at some point in the film, but no. It doesn't play out at all. Only in the tamest way possible, in like a handover right at the beginning, if you like, when he's just finished his 2 week of training. To make sure he's ready for this mission. So I mean, the plot is completely ridiculous. But again, because there's some reasonable entertainment to be had here and some fun action sequences, you can kind of put some of that to one side and park it. And please, you must click your brain off, because if you don't go into this film and click your brain off, you're probably going to be hurling things at the TV because it's nonsensical at times. I thought Halle Berry and Mark Wahlberg had a decent amount of chemistry going on here. And Halle Berry, she's still red hot. I mean, absolutely beautiful. And Mark Wahlberg, I think, this vehicle is kind of made for him, these type of movies. He can kind of do these type of things in his sleep now. They don't require him to do a great deal of acting, thank goodness, because, while I don't have a problem with Mark Wahlberg, full-on dramatic acting roles are not his forte, and when he's tried to do that in the past, it's generally failed dramatically. J.K. Simmons comes out with some pretty good one-liners here in the film, but he's just really... he's not in it a great deal, is what I'm trying to say, I suppose. And Jackie Earle Haley, again, he kind of plays like the tech guy for the Union. And I actually kind of feel sorry for him now when I see him in movies, because he gets parts like this, very small bit parts. And when I think back to, the guy that played Rorschach in Watchmen, and, the potential that he had, to kind of see him do little bit parts like this for me, I think it's a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. So yeah, this is on Netflix right now, guys. If you're looking for an evening's film with your partner, a bit of popcorn, a few beers, put your feet up, you put this on, it's not going to challenge you in any way, it's, and you might even have a fairly decent time with it, but just don't go into it expecting too much, because you will be desperately disappointed. So thanks for joining me for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find it useful. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.